Twitter started as a mobile service, and mobile is important to Twitter. Thinking about Latin Americans' heavy use of mobile, Twitter has 100 million active users every month, and fully 55% of them have some of that activity on mobile each of those months. For many, SMS is the right way, the only way that they can push out content and consume content back. And in fact, Twitter started with SMS being the only way to use it. The reason we have a 140-character limit is because we started with 160 of SMS, took 20 for a username, and had the remaining 140 for people to send messages. Of course, Latin America is an important market for Twitter. We see tremendous growth there, like we do in other markets around the world, and we continue to work with carriers in countries like Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil to ensure Twitter is available via SMS and across Latin America. You know, the Latin American region represents, as we look at our advertising, a significant portion of usage on Twitter. In fact, 70% of accounts on Twitter are outside of the US. In particular, Brazil and Mexico are two of the countries in which there are more user accounts than most of the other countries in the world. According to a March 2011 study by eMarketer, that eMarketer quoted, 74% of the people in Brazil are using Twitter, more than any of the other services that were considered in that study. Turning to the world of politics, we see many world leaders using Twitter to communicate to their citizens and other constituents, including Dilma Rousseff, the president of Brazil. So Latin America is and will continue to be an important part of the Twitter universe and is a place where we will look down the road to extend our advertising products. We will look to extend our promoted products outside of the United States, but we're not quite ready to talk about the timing yet. The technical capability is there. You can target outside of the US today, but the business presence isn't. And by that I mean a local sales force ready to engage in country, on the ground, to the breadth of advertisers that are in each one of the markets. Our approach is going to be to incrementally roll out to the next high priority markets over time. You know, we actually see Twitter as a great complement to traditional media, especially for live events. There are events like World Cup, Olympics, elections, where Twitter integrations enable traditional media and advertisers to extend their conversation online while the event is happening and continue the conversation after the event is completed. We watch consumers then engaging in real time more with that media rather than time delaying it. We think for two reasons. One, it's more fun. It's a shared social experience. And two, they don't want it spoiled by reading about the outcome somewhere else, so they want to watch the event in real time. Best practice for traditional media would be for them to pick a hashtag that they're going to use to promote the event and organize the conversation ahead of time, talk about that hashtag, and then put it on air while the event is happening. They then can use it after the event to continue the dialogue. If they're traditional broadcast TV, we also suggest having a big monitor behind the person who's doing the broadcasting so that they can point to tweets, look at trends, see what's happening in real time, and have that dialogue that's happening online integrated right into what's happening in the broadcast medium. We have a team at Twitter that is dedicated to creating some of these integrations, and as a result of that and the great work of the broadcasters everywhere, we see when we look at the top 10 most tweeted moments of all time, many of them come from integrations with traditional media. When you look at the Women's World Cup final this year, when the US and Japan were going at it, it was 6 in the morning in Japan, but there were 7,200 tweets happening every second. That same month, when Brazil was unfortunately knocked out of the Copa America, there were 7,100 tweets happening every second. And last year in the Men's World Cup, when Japan knocked out Denmark, there were 3,200 tweets happening every second. The most tweeted about event ever happened recently in the US MTV Video Music Awards. At the end of her set, Beyonce told the world she was pregnant. There were 8,900 tweets happening every second when that happened. As a result, we think Twitter is a great complement to traditional media, helping broadcasters and other media publishers extend their broadcast in real time online and continue the conversation after the event is done. I think there is a lot that Twitter has to offer to the community to help everybody understand how to use Twitter more effectively, how to get the most out of it. There are the basics of helping everybody around the world understand that while 60% of active Twitter users are tweeting, 100% of Twitter users are consuming. And advertisers then need to learn and understand that language where they know what an @ is, what a hashtag is, so that they can get the most out of their investment in social media, in other media channels. And conferences like this give advertisers and marketers and agencies that work with them the venue to have dialogue about that. You know, Twitter started as a mobile service, and in fact, when the service first began, the only way to access Twitter was via SMS. So users around the world using several of the many billion phones could simply text message, as they do on everything from a feature phone to a full-fledged iPad. And that is the way many people around the world use Twitter today. So by creating that as a default first-class interface, we think it actually crosses national lines, crosses economic lines, so that everybody can enjoy both sending out content and consuming content directly.